This is the one that if there's a fire, I run in and grab this one.
Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in Jack Gibson of Exodus. How are you doing, man?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm great. Always the horns. Always, man. It's
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
metal life. Bay Area Thrash Legends just put out a brand new album, Persona Non Grata. We've been waiting for this for a long time. I know you have too. Just first and foremost, I like to just get these things out of the way. It's just been such a tough time in the world. I really hope, you guys have been through so much. I hope you're well, your family, your friends, your collaborators. I hope everybody's, in one piece at this time.
Yeah, man. Everybody seems to be doing all right. Yeah.
Wonderful. We appreciate knowing that because, we don't
Yeah.
want to, as much as I'm excited to talk to you and talk about music, you just can't lose the human element of the fact that like collectively the whole world has been losing its marbles for a couple of
Yeah.
years and it's still going.
Absolutely.
So, just
Absolutely.
a, a,
Yeah.
a tough time to be a working professional musician.
Yeah. That's for
It's
sure.
so tough, so tough. But uh,
Yeah.
but um, but we got this record, and it's been a real breath of fresh air late in the year. We got some an early Christmas present of this great thrash, and I just saw you guys at the Fox. I was at that show with
Oh, you
Death
did?
Angel.
Awesome.
I was there. I'm in the Bay Area now, personally,
All
even though
right.
our site
Ah,
is
cool.
still all over the world. I'm in the Bay Area, so got
All
to
right.
enjoy an incredible night of music. It was a 10 of 10 for me. And what a great vibe in the room and what a great feeling. I'm sure it was wonderful for you to, you played a few shows recently, but to do it in front of the hometown crowd had to be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, it was a good night for sure. I mean, it's long overdue and hopefully a sign of more things to come.
Right on. I think it is. I think it is. We've already seen with the rebooked the Bay Strikes Back tour, which we will officially get the U.S. leg in the spring. We've
Hmm.
seen dates get added, so I think there's a thirst to see all
Yeah,
these bands play.
absolutely.
Testament didn't even really get to do a proper headline tour for their record. You guys
Yeah.
deserve to have one. Um, it's kind of fun. Like both you and Death Angel had records come out at about the same time and play basically a record release show. Is wonderful. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
forgot those things.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a great vibe in the room. Just a phenomenal. The crowd on the floor, the crowd upstairs. It was packed. It was
Mm.
sold out basically,
Yeah, it
and
was yeah, no, it was great, man. It was a good night. It was good to be around everyone again.
yeah, and we've interviewed a couple of folks from the other bands and they recently and they all were like, the one thing about that kind of show is it's people your whole life or for 20 years,
Yeah.
the whole time in the scene. It's not like, oh, we're on tour with a band we're just getting to know. It's a show and it will be a tour with like almost family, people you really see all
Yeah.
the time at the
Oh, for sure.
supermarket, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, absolutely. It's yeah, I mean, it's very familiar. Like we know, not everybody knows how to not step on other people's toes. You know what I mean? It's we all have that you know friend friend type respect, and so it's yeah, it's a good and easy package for the bands.
Right, easy is good these days, especially after everything has been so hard. You want a lot more
Yeah.
easy. Is there things you didn't miss about touring? Obviously, time away from family and home, but other than that obvious one, was there things with this sort of layoff from the road that was good for you? I mean, a lot of people. I know a lot. I don't know. We've met a few times. You seem pretty outgoing, but I know a lot of introverts were really happy to not be out in the world and not go to shows. But like, your life is to make music on stage.
Yeah, I mean, no, not really. There was really nothing good about it. I mean, getting to relax a little bit, more than normal is good, but then having to relax for 2 years is, not good. So, um, I mean, no, I mean, I think we all just wish, that we would have been out working, that things would have just been normal and we could have, you know, just done our normal thing because it really did affect us in so many ways. Like you said, really the only way we make money now is to go out and play shows, and they took that away from us. So yeah, it's just been you know just been a waiting game pretty much.
Indeed. And you guys have been, we've been patient. You've been patient. I thanked every person in the venue that worked at the venue, the merch person. I thanked the door guy. I thanked the person that checked
Mhm.
my card. I was like, "Thank you for being back. Welcome back." Uh, I I've been very fortunate. I think living in Northern California, where we opened up earlier than a lot of other places and got a lot more show opportunities, either local or national, even festivals, aftershock, and things like that. I've been I feel very fortunate that I got to aggressively go to a lot of shows. It was a little nerve wracking at first. Like, there's a lot of mofos in this place, man. I don't know if this
Mhm.
is a smart idea, but I've been okay
Mhm.
mostly. And I felt, I made it back out there. And I'm really, cautiously optimistic that we're, even with everything else going on, we're going to get it all back. And the Bay Strikes Back tour will be the first of many for you. And that's my hope. Is there's festivals next summer. I think a whole bunch have been announced. You guys are on some. I'm sure there's more to come. We're going to hear a lot more tour dates and things open up for the band ASAP.
Yeah, it seems like things are, leaning that way. So, hopefully it just keeps trending, that way. And the world wants to, you know, open instead of, close.
Right on. And I think inherently despite our fatigue of this entire situation, and it's real, I think people do want to, get back out to the world and, go
Hmm.
back and do things. I know it's been weird. People are working from home, haven't gone to the movies, but like
Hmm.
we're getting there. We're getting there.
Hmm.
It's going to be
Yeah.
okay.
Hmm.
I think we're a good model out here for the rest of the country, at least. I can't speak about Europe. They're having their own problems. But
Yeah.
on the plus side, let's talk about Persona non grata, excuse me, because it is fantastic. And I wasn't, I know you guys have been writing over the years. Gary was kind of off with Slayer on tour basically for 2 years on their farewell tour,
Hmm.
but in the meantime, we have this record. So I don't know if I'm not fully sure of the genesis of the record. Was this record completely finished and you guys were just kind of sitting on it, or were you still working on it last year?
No, we made it. We made it about a year ago. Like we made it after the March. When the everybody went home. Then that August and September, uh, and into October, we made the record, and then we sat on it for about a year, just because we weren't there was nothing to release to, and even right now it's a weird time to release. Like finally, we just went, you know what, fuck it, just we have to put it out. We can't sit on it forever, and so it's just kind of a weird time. We just didn't really know what to do, but we had gone in there to make the record. Once we realized we weren't really going to be touring, and went in and did it. It's kind of it's kind of one of those things where like all these things came together because Tom knew he was sick when we were making the record, but it wasn't until we were done that they actually found the cancer. He'd been to a couple doctors and they were I'm dead, blah blah blah. We made the record and then he found out. So we might not have been able to make the record after that. So it was just all kind of providence. You know what I mean? Like things just came together. We did it. It was a good. We had a good time. We had a good hang together, making the record, up, and just turned out all right. I mean, like the record's great, and I just wish the world was a little bit more ready for, everything. But I mean, everybody's sitting in that same position right now.
Indeed. Yeah, Tom, man. Shout out to Tom. He also played and sounded fantastic live.
Yeah,
Such a terrifying thing to maybe lose your life, have a major surgery at any age, but just in general, been through a lot in personally, and then to have this and to come through on the other side, it was,
yeah,
I'm so happy.
yeah,
As are everybody in the whole scene happy that he's in one piece as much as,
yeah, man.
as he can and come back and play awesome and looking forward to more happy, healthy, and good prospects for the future. you know, the big C is a terrifying thing. If
Yeah,
it happens to
totally.
you, if it happens to someone you love, everyone knows about it. You know, it's like
Yeah,
most
man.
things in life.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
and then, you know, the record itself, like, yeah, I seem to recall, like, late in the fall, like, you know, I know Gary's big on like Instagram, and he would post some stuff from the studio, but you don't, you know, like, oh, that's really amazing. And, you know, maybe that's happening today, but also maybe it already happened, or maybe it's, you know, time. What
Right.
is time anymore in the world
Sure.
because of this thing?
Right.
So, you know, thanks for shedding some light on that time frame for us. And then again, like I said, the record is phenomenal. I mean, I really like Blood In, Blood Out, but I know there was kind of like a weird transition for the band between uh, Zetro and Rob, and
Hmm.
so that was kind of odd. Even though the record is very strong, I think it, you know, was kind of weird in general. Just like, oh, okay,
Hmm.
this is happening, and but then
Hmm.
it was great to have Zetro back, and he's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And he, by the way, he sounds and looks phenomenal. I know that he's been on like a health kick or something because
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
ripped and he looks and sounds great. He's stalked the
Yeah.
stage like I don't remember him running around that much before, and he
Right.
was all over. It was fantastic,
Yeah.
and he sounds fantastic on this record. And what really jumps out to me about the album is that it's like very if it was just like a straight ahead record, we would love that too because we love, you know, we want just more songs from the band. But it's very progressive. It's like very complicated riffs and like
Mhm.
really incredible rhythmic ideas. You go back and listen to this thing on repeat. It's like, wow, this thing is complex. And you know,
Mhm.
as you know, a lot of hats off to you guys for writing such a, you know, just a monster record at this time. Like you didn't have to write a monster badass record and put something out this strong. You could be like, we're Exodus. We don't have to prove anything to anybody, but like what a phenomenal piece of music this whole thing is.
Yeah, thanks, man. I think it yeah, I mean, I think it's, a bunch of just it's like I said, it was just kind of time coming together at just the right time. You know, uh we hadn't made a record for 7 years, so like all the best riffs were piled up, and they we hadn't made music together in 7 years, you know. So it was like a treat, to us to be back in doing it. I think probably the same when it was, it all starts with Tom and Gary in a room with drums and a half stack, just riffing. Try this, try it on the upbeat. Try the mosh. Oh, here, these two go together. This is like, okay, this, all right, we got a song. Now let's try the second one, and they just hammered the songs out together. And I think, since it's been so long, and even at that point, it had been, 5 months, 6 months almost since we had played together, 7 years since we had, they had, sat down to write together. I think it just, was one of those things. Everybody was just happy to be there. And, uh, you know, instead of it's like, oh, here's the next one, let's do the next one. I think this one was like, oh shit, we finally get to like get in there and kick some ass, So it wasn't just run of the mill and turn an album out. It was like, yay, we get to do this.
Right on. Exodus is the band that kind of was always much more straight and to the point than all the other bands. But I would say since the return of the band in the period of time you've been in the band, basically we've seen this like more expansive songwriting. If you want to credit it to the whole band, or you want to credit it to Gary or whoever's driving that process. But we do get some very long songs on this, some very intricate, interesting songs. Not just like here's a very long intro and an
Hmm.
outro, and immediately the song is 4 minutes. Like a very
Right.
really thoughtfully composed tracks, man. Like just not
Hmm.
just the title track, but you know, there's a couple of long bangers in there that go
Yeah.
through just a lot of motifs and changes, and they're
Yeah.
all. It's not like let's just throw the kitchen sink in the wall and see what
Yeah.
sticks. It's to mash up two cliches that don't go together, but like
Yeah.
you know, it's
Yeah.
it's really good. They work. The songs work too, in addition.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Yeah.
cool.
I think that also comes from you know, the fact we did it at Tom's house, like we had time, and at that time we had all the fucking time in the world, you know what I mean? So we weren't just like hurry up and, hurry up and put an ending on that, or hurry up and do this. It was like they had time to write, and it was like, when should I come out? Not this month, maybe next month. Okay. And so like they had plenty of time to shape those songs and go, no, and this or maybe that, or you know what I mean? Like it was a matter of time, which most people don't have now. Like you don't have extra time to sit and create stuff. So that was I guess one benefit of the of this whole thing. Was all that extra time to put into the creative process.
Nice. I have my favorites on the album. I'm sure other people do. Obviously, the title track, "Slipping into Madness," REMF. The Beatings Will Continue, a wonderful title and
Mhm.
song. Do you have any personal favorites on the new album that you have stayed with you?
I really like Clickbait, man. It's just like kind of a straightforward thrash, song. It's got kind of a cool little singable sing along chorus, and maybe I hear a little bit of the 7 Years of Slayer in there, maybe a pinch, and uh, kind of reminds me of some of those songs on Slayer records that are just short and awesome, and they kind of come and go, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I really for some reason have taken a liking to it. I really like to play it. We played it that night at the Fox, and it's just really fun. It's a fun little song.
Indeed, it's good. This, like I said, the trademark Exodus straight ahead bangers. I will say that I'm really a fan of Steve singing, and he's really snarling and yelling on key a lot on this one. But I do love the sing-alongs when we get them, and then I
Yeah.
think the old material meshes very well with the new material from track to track. It just seems to keep up. So I know we only got a shorter than usual set there, and all the bands played pretty well. Not too short, but always want more. I'm greedy, and I'll give Testament their due. They were the headliner, and they had this wild Iron Maiden stage that they needed to put up anyway. So, all
Yeah.
good, all good.
Right.
Exodus, usually not in the middle, but like I'll
Right.
take it. I'll take any show right now.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, the new material does seem to ride very well with the old stuff in it live.
Yeah. I mean, it's all from the cartoon brain of Gary Holt. You know what I mean? And it's just whatever he's writing that season basically is this is what you're gonna get. So and I mean we're a band. We played together so much. I've played with Tom for so long now. 25 years. I've been playing with those guys. A little more because I played with Tom and Gary for a couple of years before I actually joined into Exodus. And so I mean, we just know what's like. We know what to do. I know what my job is. I know what to count on from the other guys, and when Tom spits, I know it's where it's going to land. You know what I mean? So like, I don't want to say it's like it's old hat or whatever, but like it's what we do. We get in there and we make music together. I know where my bass fits in there with their guitar tones, and like I know what to do so that in the end you can hear my bass because I didn't put too much of this or demand too much of that. Like after all these years, like we perfected a little bit more each time. So, and we've been doing it for a long time, man. Old men know how to rock, man.
Right on. Not that old, but yeah, I get you. Um, as a former bassist myself, it's always I was always from the school of Philo from Thin Lizzy. It's about what you don't play as a bassist as much as what you do,
Oh
and
heck
I think
yeah.
that's a very fitting thing to tag on you. You are always very good bass lines. There's a lot of bassists out there, but to play bass in this genre and stand out is hard. There
Yeah.
have been some legends, of course, and friends of yours and peers, but yeah, it's to be tasteful on the bass, to stand out on the bass, to lock in with the drummer and groove, and not just mimic exactly what the guitars are doing. Which that is
Right.
in and of itself. You play with two of the greatest players in the world. It's hard enough.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how you keep up with those dudes with Lee. It's just like yeah, it's wild. So
Yeah. Yeah, man.
it's
Yeah. Well, I
wild.
mean, bass is I mean, one of my favorite bands is Rush.
Mm,
So I grew up with that. Where Geddy and Neil have, it's like a special bond. They're creating even more than just what a rhythm section would do, and both Tom and I are, fans of like, real funk music, where they're, like a real rhythm section, you know what I mean, where the bass and the drums are like it's like a machine, you know what I mean. And so in this music too, like there's a lot of, not a lot of room for that, but there's room for that in things, where I'm bridging the gap between what the guitar players are doing and what the drums are doing, so sometimes I'm tonal and sometimes I'm rhythmic, and I get that benefit of being able to do both.
Right on. Speaking of Rush, I don't know if you got the opportunity. Did you see Primus at the Greek do the Rush show?
I did not know. I saw them do the when they were on the tour with Slayer, they did the Cygnus, which was killer. And yeah, and I wanted to catch him, and it was one of those things where I live in Nashville now, and when they were around this area, I was over there, and then when they were, and then I just missed them both times. So it was unfortunate, but
No worries.
yeah.
I'll just say that I'll give Claypool a shout out because he came out when they did the Rush at in the kimono like Getty in
Oh
'77,
yeah.
and
Oh,
with
that's rad.
the black Rick with the black on black pick guard, just like
Oh
that. And
yeah,
I
it's
was like,
sick.
oh
Yeah.
man, like a little piece of my childhood right there happened.
Yeah.
But it's all
Yeah.
good. You never know, they might bring it back.
Yeah, I mean,
What's
I would have loved to seen it because they're I know it was good because the Cygnus was good.
Yeah, for sure. They
Yeah,
cared. They really cared.
yeah,
What's
yeah.
what's Nashville like for you professionally? Is there other opportunities there? You used to have side projects and your other bands and stuff. What's going on there?
Oh man, it's exhausting. I mean, there's so much going on here. Yeah, I jam with people all the time and do little projects and little recording things, and I'm gonna record another album of my country band is Coffin Hunter. It's
Yeah,
kind of a punk country thing, which isn't very big here in Nashville. Like here, it's like real radio country music, right? Like if you can't crappy songs that get on the radio next week, they don't want to fuck talk to you, But it's a real stimulating, area that the the people here are all they're just the best musicians, and they're all here trying to make a little bit of money, doing it, and they can all read, they can just have chords, yelled out at them, and they can fucking play the song, and they can look at charts and number systems, and they're all like, it's all like the really good musicians from every town ended up here, and they're all cool. They're all just looking to do stuff and collaborate and do things, and it's like a real like healthy music scene, here, and I really like it. I don't really make money here. My money comes from somewhere else, but just being around all of the people here and being in this area and stuff, it's really cool, man. It's really fun.
right on. Congrats on all
Yeah,
that. You are
yeah.
also one of the best musicians I can think of, especially on bass. So
Oh, thank you,
don't
man.
slight yourself, my friend, in that
Yeah,
company. You deserve all that
thank you.
praise. Just as we wrap this up, I want to give you back your night. I love to see anybody in a room of gear, so I have to ask you which one of those axes behind you, or even if it's the guitar, which one is your favorite?
Well, that's a little hard to say. There's one up here that is the one that I record with all the time, and that's this guy here. And this guy I've recorded everything with Exodus with, and I had them paint it black for me. It used to be brown, like a sunburst, but and I bought this off the shelf. I don't even know what year it was, and it always wins. It always wins the blind taste test. It's a Yamaha BBG 5S, which is the active version. You can see that it's got the battery in the back, and I don't know why, for some reason, this one is just, it's the one. It's the hottest. It just beats everything every time. So this is the one that if there's a fire, I run in and grab this one.
That's it.
the
Amazing.
other
There it
the
is.
other the other poor babies burn, but I
Mm.
have I do have an honorable mention right now though, who I've been playing more often, which is this guy that Yamaha had just made for me.
Ooh.
It's a glass base. It's made out of lucite, and it's got like a, you can see there's like a dark gray lucite pickup on it, pick guard. I mean, and it's just a BB, but we just made the body out of lucite. And man, I love this guy. It plays so good. And sounds really good. It looks really good on stage too. So
Yeah.
like this is the one I've been using uh, for everything lately.
Nice. It looks fun, and I bet it
Yeah,
sounds great. That's
yeah. It
amazing.
doesn't sound quite as good as the wood ones, but it rocks, man. It's got a really good tone of its own. It's really cool. Yeah.
Well, maybe if we run out of trees someday, we'll start making mass basses and guitars out of other materials.
Everybody, you'll have to start working out because this thing weighs 18 pounds.
Ooh,
It's by far the heaviest stringed instrument I've ever picked up in my life. You know, it's insane, but
I think.
it's balanced so good that once you put it on your shoulder, it kind of disappears. But
Oh, good. I think my back hurts just from you saying 18 pounds. Oh
yeah,
my gosh, that
no,
sounds
it's a tough one. Yeah,
right on. Well, Jack Gibson, man, it's been awesome catching up with you, and thank you so much for making the time to hang with Ghost Cult.
yeah.
Congratulations on Persona Non Grata. It is out now on Nuclear Blast. We will link everything below. There's an awesome package with like a figurine and a comic book. I never thought I would get an
Yeah,
Exodus comic book. I'm so happy.
yeah.
And yeah, man, just congratulations on everything. Continued success and safety and happiness and health and all that good jazz. And as we
Thank
move
you,
into
man.
the holidays, man, thank you so much.
You're welcome, man. It was good to talk to you.